Welcome to another edition of Ori Lifestyle Inclusive Beauty Podcast. My name is Tutulalami Bello, and today I have Dukwe Tasala and Ifetola Omotola.
Hi.
Your name is so unusual.
Yes.
Tasala. Is that your surname?
It's not my surname. It's actually my middle name.
Ooh.
Yes.
Where is it from? I've never heard it before.
So there's a story behind it. So I'm Yoruba, but I was born in the north. I was born in Kano.
Oh, wow.
And when my parents had me, they wanted to give me a northern name, but not a typical Hausa name. So Tasala is Abiodun, literally translated in Hausa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
That is
So it's
interesting.
Tasala. And Salah is like a festive period.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
So today we're going to be talking about natural hair on big and special occasions. And I have two people that I really hold in high esteem. Dukwe Tasala, who is a qualified cosmetologist in the UK. And in Nigeria.
Correct.
And you actually relocated to Nigeria.
I did in 2012.
In 2012. And you own one of the most well-known natural hair salons in Lagos. I've seen amazing work coming out on Instagram from your salon.
Thank you.
So I'm really pleased to have you here today because I want to discuss a range of subjects. And natural hair is my favorite topic to talk about.
Mine too.
So it's wonderful to have you here. And Ifetola, I have to disclose that you are my baby cousin.
I am.
I held you in my hands
You did.
when you were younger. And we used to call you judiciary.
Oh my gosh.
And you are now a lawyer. I will not really reveal why we used to call you the judiciary, but you are now a
Embarrassing
lawyer.
me to the world. But yes, I am a lawyer. And who knows, maybe one day a judge. I don't mind.
Maybe one day a judge. In fact, I prophesy that one day a judge.
It's on the list. So actually, I take that.
Oh, fantastic. So you've been natural. Let's start with you. You've been natural for how long?
10 years, actually.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't feel like 10 years. My hair is not 10 years of length, at least in my mind. This is my hair and a little bit of added hair on top. But yeah, been natural. I was speaking to her before we started. Went natural in 2013 when I was 18. So my first year of uni. And been riding that wave since then. So I was a bit early in the natural hair journey in terms of it catching that craze.
What inspired you to go natural?
Do you know, I don't quite know. I think sometimes, do you ever just get that idea in your mind and then you just spontaneous and you just run with it? And so I've had relaxed hair since I was like 5. I think the story goes I was supposed to be a little bride. And I think that really goes into this idea of big occasions as well.
Absolutely.
I was supposed to be a little bride and they decided to relax my hair and we had been relaxing my hair every like 2 months since then. So maybe it was something about having that freedom for the first time. Or maybe it was also, you know, the era of YouTube really catching the wave and then you've got your twist out and your Bantu knots and your hair care products. And one thing about then was relaxed hair wasn't really considered healthy hair. It was just you relax your hair and you go home. Obviously now, even people with relaxed hair, there's, you know, that conversation about healthy hair and how you maintain it. But there wasn't really that opportunity, it felt, to be DIY with my hair, with relaxed hair. And so I was just like, I'm going natural. And I went natural and I transitioned for about 6 months. And 6 months in, my hair was wet. And I was just like, yeah, I don't like the look of transitioning hair. Then I just cut it off and yeah.
You've
10
been
years.
natural ever since.
10 years going on 11.
I'm going to come back to you. I'm interested to know what your natural hair care journey, your natural hair, your own personal natural hair journey was.
So for me, it's so not totally similar, but I'd been relaxed I relaxed my hair for the first time maybe when I was like 15. My parents were one of those who was like, you're not relaxing your hair until you finish secondary school and all that. So I had natural hair till I was 16. But at 16, I didn't really know, I wasn't really into my hair. So anyway, relaxed hair about 15. And then I've had relaxed hair ever since, done all sorts with it. I mean, went into hairdressing and been taking care of hair. I was into healthy hair the whole time. And then in 2012, I moved back to Nigeria and then just got a bit more into the natural hair into the hair care industry in Nigeria. And along the way, one of my biggest issues with my hair was always like my scalp is super sensitive. So I always had this specific, like 2 people that always relaxed my hair. And being in Nigeria kind of threw me off that. And every time, even though I do hair, I never relax my hair myself. That's the one thing I say someone has to do it. So it's done properly, it's done quick, and it's just done so my hair is in the best condition. I had so many issues with just finding the right stylist that I was comfortable with in Nigeria. So I got to a point where I just started stretching my relaxers. So I didn't intentionally say I was going natural. It was just a case of, okay, I'll stretch my relaxers so I don't have to relax as much. And then I started stretching. I think the first time was like 6 months. And then I said, okay. And then the next time it got to 6 months. I thought, I'll go a bit more. And then before I knew it got to 9 months. And then I think at 9 months, I was playing around with my hair and I thought, wow, this is what my natural hair actually feels like. Because I had about a couple of inches, about 3 inches worth of natural hair growth. And I thought, it made me realize, and I started thinking about it, that I actually don't know what my natural hair feels like. Because, I mean, the last time I was natural was 15. At this point, I was like mid-30s. I'd been relaxing my hair for 20 years. And it was just interesting feeling my natural hair. And I decided, you know what, maybe I'll actually try it out. Cut off the relaxed hair, leave. And then I wore my hair short for a while and then started growing it. I did not know what to expect. It was just, let's rock it and see how it goes. And it's been fantastic. Haven't looked back since then.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's not often that you hear it's been fantastic. So I coach loads of women through this journey of wearing your hair, learning to care for your hair or their children's hair. And oftentimes it starts off being, it's new. It's a new skill. In fact, I would say sometimes it starts off with them being very excited. And then when they get into it, they go, oh my God, it's so difficult. I have so much to remember. Ifetola, what was it like for you? Was it fantastic from the very beginning?
I think it was interesting. So you know how like you start makeup and you develop a love for makeup and you try different things out and some work and some don't and some skills are hard for you to master and they become frustrating. Getting used to my hair was like that. So it was a very intimate process. It was a creative process. There was lots of failures and successes. I like this product. I don't like that product. I'm not going to mention any of them because, I'm all in with you now. And so obviously, bantu knots, twists, the whole 9 yards. If anything, I think I've become less creative with my hair the longer I've been natural. I think in the beginning, I was definitely doing bantu knots. Yep. I was doing my own twist outs. I was doing like the finger coils myself. I was doing the rollers, everything. Now I'm just like, man, twists, cornrows, braids, that's it. It was exciting. I would say it was exciting in the beginning, definitely. Especially again, I think similarly for someone who hadn't dealt with my hair or known my hair for more than a decade at that point, even though I was 18. So it was interesting. I think that's the word I put. Definitely frustrating at some points, but fun.
Really interesting. Now, I'll say for me, I have had natural hair for over 25 years. I went to university being one of the few people with natural hair. And that's how I was known with one other person. And we actually were flatmates at the time as
natural
well.
Hair sisters.
Right. Natural hair sisters. Her hair was magnificent. I mean, she got I always used to say, she got the Lauren Hill tag and I got the Macy Gray tag. I don't care what anyone says. I wanted to be Lauren Hill. Right? But we were both the natural hair girls. And so I was always comfortable with the aesthetics of natural hair on me. And I always thought that natural hair was beautiful. And I actually, when I think back to it, why did I always think natural hair was beautiful? I think it was because my mum. My mum was all for natural hair. Even though she was relaxed up until 40. But she always used to tell me, you look amazing, you look wonderful, or you look like Michael Jackson. But that was a compliment.
So positive affirmations.
Exactly.
I mean, he did have a lot of hair at some point.
I did have a lot of hair. However, university happened to me. Post-university, actually. It wasn't in university where everyone started wearing Brazilian hair. People may have heard me say
26-inch bust down.
It wasn't that then. It was just
the
it was the real good hair came on the market. So
or the raw hair.
Exactly. So whilst we were in university, we had extensions and stuff, but they weren't good hair. So I used to actually look at them and think they were mostly synthetic hair.
Or the mixed fibers.
Exactly. And I used to look at them and think, why would I wear this
Like you're not missing out
over my own hair? You don't know how you look. Like, I'm sorry, no shade. So I wasn't inspired. But when those real good Brazilian hair hit, I was tempted. And then I became hooked. And then it was, I still love my hair, but and then it became the back to back to back to back to back. And eventually my hair got really damaged. And then I obviously had a daughter who then started asking, at what age can I wear weaves? And And I thought, now I've done this wrong. Got to go back to caring for my hair so that she sees her own
she's
beauty
comfortable,
in myself reflecting back to her. And so I went on that journey of learning to care for my hair, investing in hair care, and then wearing my own hair exclusively. But I was never challenged by the aesthetics of how I looked with the hair, which I find a lot of people or adjust to.
Definitely.
In your experience?
Yeah. I mean, for me, with my own hair, I have to say I found, obviously, at that point, I had a salon. So taking care of my hair wasn't so much of a challenge. I actually found it interesting. I'm very into products. So it was a discovery for me because I had clients as well. And it kind of helps my business because at that time I was documenting a lot of what I was doing with my hair, showing products, showing my hair. It got people interested. Oh, what are you doing? What can we do? And then it gained me a lot of clients as well because people that were interested but didn't know where to go or what to do, started coming for that. And I got the chance to play around. I'd been doing bridal hairstyling for a long time. So that wasn't something new, but it also brought me a whole new group of clientele, like brides who wanted to wear their hair natural. When I trained in hairdressing, I did bridal hair as well. And it was mainly, I did Caucasian hairdressing to start with. But I liked the fact that I could then start translating all those styles, but using natural textures. And that was what attracted a lot of people because it wasn't the typical gel packing, style your hair and it looks stiff. We was like softer styles and it was more pleasing. People liked it on natural hair. So it was very appealing. It was soft, it was feminine, it was sexy. And I got people doing that as well and training my staff on doing that. So it was quite nice. And it was just like a big transition for me and for my clients. And even till now, I always say that my salons are not natural hair salons. We just focus on healthy hair. Fantastic. And that's the key. That's what we always aim for. It doesn't matter what state your hair is in, whether it's relaxed, whether it's natural. We just want you to follow good hair practices, healthy hair practices, and it makes a difference across the board.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think for me, my experience might be slightly different also because I think at the point when I went natural was an age where both of you, I think, had just started having your relaxed hair journey. So it's a different aesthetic mindset for me. I remember me and my friends used to say a lot when we were in uni, first year, second year, third year, because I went to uni in England, that what kind of hair you had very much defined what kind of men approached you in the clubs. So that was something, and obviously we were, forgive me now, but we were 18, 19, 20. So that's what, we would talk about sometimes. So you go to a club and I guess as additional context, I went to university in a very predominantly white area. But then, I would still go to London. And then even after uni, I did some post-grad schooling in London. And I think that experience, even in Nigeria, the experience is even still the same, even at this age. But I think about it less and I care about it less. But yeah, when you've got your natural hair out, when you've got your braids, and when you've got your weave, it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, it actually. Yeah.
And so I think just talking again about the external interaction, so not yet getting to the point about how you internally feel, but I think obviously when you've got your 26-inch bust down, as I always like to say, I think the attention is the most, it's widespread. A lot of people, I think braids is a good half mix, everyone's going to come. Natural hair is very interesting because people are more comfortable, including men, complimenting you on your hair, but they're not following through. So they'll say, oh, your hair is so... It's almost... And it's not a fetish because obviously we're all black. I mean, it's black people who would be telling me about my hair. But it's like it's a fascination. Or they also just want to say, hey, I see you, keep it up. That doesn't...
But it doesn't translate.
It doesn't translate because again, obviously we're all internalizing the same thing. Me too. And I can't fault them because me too, I'm internalizing, okay, do I feel as attractive in this hair? But I see it and I can recognize something in theory. So I think they see it and they can recognize that same thing in theory. So they go out of their way to kind of compliment you and say, oh, I really like your hair. Or, it's really nice that your hair is out. It's kind of like when men say, oh, they like women like who don't wear makeup and it's natural, but everyone they like has makeup on. Exactly. So it's kind of like that. So it's kind of like that. So I think that was definitely something that I experienced when I was in uni. And again, at that point, I had just gone natural. So I had like a teeny weeny afro. It wasn't even something I could blow dry and, get it to my shoulders. So I think that for me, that was definitely my introduction to the aesthetic difference. That, okay, different hair, different personas, different people, different interactions, different value in people's eyes as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
But did you start off loving your look because even though I say I've always been comfortable with my own aesthetics, remember I also went through the journey of wearing the weaves regularly. When I then switched back, it took a lot of adjustment for me, if I'm honest, to be comfortable with my hair. But there were two reasons. One main reason for that. Well, two reasons for that. Everybody around me was still in the 26-inch bust downs, and my hair was a mess because I hadn't been taking care of it. The better my hair got,
then you get more comfortable, more confident.
I got. But initially, I was not comfortable with my own aesthetics, with my own natural hair.
I think I always liked it. But I think the distinction I'll draw is, how depending on what the look you want for the day or what you're wearing, you might feel cute or pretty or sexy or edgy or funky. So maybe I never felt, or not even maybe, I did not feel as maybe sexy or conventionally attractive with my natural hair as I did in like weaves or, I wasn't wearing wigs when I was 18. Wigs weren't a thing then. We were in that middle where wigs were still something that our mommies and our grandmas were wearing. No shade. So weaves. So I didn't feel as attractive as I did in the weaves, but I could recognize them. So I was like, okay, I feel edgy. I feel funky. I feel cute. I feel pretty. So I still felt positive. It was just a different kind of feeling or a different kind of view of myself than when I was like, I didn't feel, and I know we're going to get into it, I didn't feel dressed up, right? So it's not something I would have done and be like, okay, I'm going on a day, or okay, we're going for someone's birthday at the club and we all want to pull, as we used to say then. But I never saw it and thought, oh, you're ugly, or oh, this is unattractive. It was just, oh, this is cute. Oh, look at you, you're funky, like, bantu knots.
How about you?
And I think, well, for me personally, I remember when I first cut my hair, I know I did feel a bit, maybe naked.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Because even though I was like, I want to experience my natural hair, there was a bit of, slight, I'm not sure what the word is.
Hesitation?
But just something that just felt exposed. Maybe that's the word to use. Because it wasn't like negative, but I just felt exposed. Yeah. So I remember I used to play around with my hair a lot. So I'll do the tiny rod sets and things like that. So, and I felt, okay, that's cute. Just make it interesting. I would color it, to add variation to it all. And I wore it out like short a lot of the time. And thinking back now, those were, as she said, the most fun times.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. As my hair grew longer, I thought of, and that's one thing I always tell my clients now, or people who transition, I always tell them, enjoy the short phase. Just rock it.
I agree.
Because once your hair starts to grow, you will look back and you will miss that time.
The freedom.
It's easy for you people with long hair to say,
well, I was short. I had short hair once upon a time.
Fair.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I 100% agree. the time to even put my hair in little twists. Like I can't. I can't now. Like I can't. And then it takes longer to detangle and so on and so forth. So I am with you. Enjoy the short fades.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is just the assurances and the positivity that we attach to hair, because that's one thing that I'm really, really big on. You know, we have a lot of women. My salons now, we cater to everybody, but I would say maybe 75% of our clients have natural hair. And it's important because when they come in, they feel comfortable.
Yes.
They see a lot of other people with natural hair. They see the care that goes into taking care of the hair. And we give options. So it's not... A lot of times women just struggle because when they walk in, first of all, it's like hesitation to do the hair, confusion, how do I do it? And you are supposed to be the professional. Why are you hesitating?
Yes.
Why are you not confident with doing it? So naturally, the client is not going to be comfortable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if there's no positive reinforcements or encouragement or even compliments, you know, every woman wants to be complimented. Every woman wants to feel beautiful.
I think talking about aesthetic, and I hope I'm not getting into what we're going to be discussing later, but I think also what happens sometimes in when you're wearing your not natural styles, the hair itself feels like an accessory. So you're wearing your braids or you're wearing your wig or your weave, and you already feel like you've put in that extra effort. You already feel accessorized. It's kind of like now where there's this craze where people do like the lashes, and so the idea is, okay, since you've got your lashes always done and your eyebrows always done, you don't have to wear makeup. So you're already ready. So again, if you're wearing a wig, whether it's, you know, shoulder length or down to your back, even if you're wearing it with sweats and a naked face, you feel dressed up. But when it's your own hair, something about it feels like, I have to put more things on. Okay, let me put on some big earrings. Let me wear a really cute outfit. Like just my hair, especially in this period of time where my hair's definitely grown. I would say if I straighten it, it's definitely longer than shoulder length, but it still very much faces the sky. So in this period of that, it's like, okay, just that and then some sweats, like maybe I look like a boy.
I would say there's a lot of conditioning around that.
Oh, definitely.
There's a lot of conditioning, especially as Black women, around this done hair thing.
Yes.
I would love to see us evolve to that position where we can be like our Caucasian cousins, where their own natural hair is done.
Yep.
It's enough.
My
it doesn't
hair's
need any attachment or addition. As your hair is like this, is done. My hair is extra done, right? Because I've had to manipulate it into this style. I'd love to see that. But moving us on to our main topic of the day, which is this relationship with even those of us who are natural when we are going to big occasions, and the pressure, because I would say pressure or the need to feel particularly done. So I'll give you a perfect example. On my wedding day, I had a weave that I didn't want, but I felt the pressure to have a weave. Nobody said, don't wear your natural hair. But I really felt that people would judge if I wore my natural hair. And it's it is the worst regret.
Your biggest hair regret.
My biggest hair regret is not wearing my own hair on my wedding. And I succumbed. So I really understand it when people say, yeah, I have my natural hair, but big occasions, I'm doing this. Is that still a thing?
Well, I think, yes, it is a thing. But for me, to be honest, I don't think it's a bad thing. Because on your wedding day, you wear makeup. On your wedding day, you wear an extra glam dress. You know, so I don't think I think that what it is you should wear your hair in a way that is something you're comfortable in, something that you're going to look back on and you still recognize yourself and it's still familiar to you because it's your wedding day. As I said, we do all the other extra things. So why not our hair as well?
So I'm going to slightly disagree with you because I started by saying my natural inclination was to wear my natural hair.
That's fine. I think if you personally, that's why I said what's comfortable for you. So if you wanted to wear your natural hair and it was down to pressure from other people, then that's different. Then yeah, maybe look at that. But also, like I have clients now that say, okay, I want to wear my natural hair for my wedding day. But we look at the pros and the cons. What's the day going to be like? What's the weather going to be like? Is it an all-day wedding where you're going to have trad and then the white wedding and blah, blah, blah? Or what's the style? Or are you going to transition into other styles as well? And sometimes we decide that, okay, yeah, you will have some added hair, but it's hair that's going to be similar to your natural hair. So it still looks like you. It still looks like your hair, but it's just enhanced. It enhances what you naturally have. And we have some people that will say, no, I just want to wear my own hair. Sometimes we work with just their own hair. Sometimes it's a case of, okay, I want more shape, so we'll add padding. So there's options.
So now there are options.
Now
I got married 20 years ago. Now we have someone like you that I could go to. That wasn't available 20 years ago, even in England, right? But I think I'm talking about something a little bit also deeper, because I would love to be getting married now. There are loads of options. If I was getting married today, I would wear my natural hair. I could have hair added onto it, but hair that matches my
own hair. Yeah.
Now, there was something that you said, and I think a lot of people would go, yeah, because, if the weather changes and your hair shrinks. White people face this problem as well. I have a lovely lady who actually follows me. She's a hairstylist, but mostly predominantly wedding. She's white and her clients are white. And she did one, I think it was a reel one day, where the planning, including the type of products that they were going to use, because they knew that the weather was going to be humid and the curls would drop. It was phenomenal. Now, people seem to assume that only applies to us, that kind of thinking and planning with hair, but it doesn't. It applies to all groups of people. And you would know, because you do both. You're trained in Caucasian and in both.
But we have to also understand that there's some peculiarities when it comes to our hair.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I've done both Caucasian and, Afro hair typed hair. And the difference is that we work as closely as possible for natural hair clients, with hair that matches theirs, within styles. And one of the reasons that our clients really love what we do as well is because we care about the health of your hair. Because with natural hair, when we're thinking about, the planning and the products and everything we need to do to keep your own hair in a certain style, regardless of the weather, you also have to think about heat damage. You have to think about, just the amount of... A lot of women go into their wedding wanting to wear their natural hair, and they come back at the end of the day with damaged hair because of the level of pressing and blow drying and heat and, manipulation that has gone into it in that one day. Because we have to realize that our hair, even though it looks tough, it's fragile.
Yes.
And it needs that delicate care.
Okay.
Yeah, so we need to consider that and think about the health of the hair as well. So what's comfortable for you? You still want to wear a natural hairstyle. So, but you want it more glam. What can we make? What can we do to achieve that? Yeah, in a healthy way, and with what you will be comfortable in, what you will feel beautiful in, and you will feel happy with. So 20 years later, you're looking at your pictures and you still like what you see.
But even you may not necessarily like what you see. Right, 20 years down the line. But it is what you wanted at the time. Not because you felt this slight societal conditioning to adhere to an aesthetic that...
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, right? And that's why, even though I think I side with you a bit, I understood your initial disagreement with what she said, but I also understand when you were saying about it's what you want. I'm paraphrasing you at a certain point. And I think it's a very slippery slope. And I think that there are so many beauty standards that women are battling against, right? Hair is just one of them, although, as Black women, hair sometimes is the biggest one. And I think that that's one thing that I've been, I don't want to say struggling, really pondering in this season, because it's almost like the curse of overthinking. The more you think about one thing, then you think about the next thing, then you think about the next thing. So, like I said, I've been, I wear my natural hair like 90% of the time. The other 10%, well, even natural hair, I cornrows underneath, all of that, wigs. But, it's mostly my hair. And then obviously big occasions, which I know we're going to get into, or which we kind of already are in. But the more I've been wearing my hair and the more I've been thinking about, okay, the beauty standard and the societal pressure, you start to think about other things. You're like, okay, makeup. Like, do I have to wear makeup? These days, I've been wearing a lot less makeup. I still love makeup.
Yes.
I still buy makeup products all the time. I just bought one last week. There's one I have my eye on when I'm in England in a couple of months. And so because of that, I've just not been wearing as much makeup, but it's not been a battle with self. It was just, I was like, do I really need to? Like, I look fine. And then you just get used to it. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you now have a dinner where normally you'd have done a full face and then you're like, oh, I can't be bothered. So now, yeah, okay, maybe I do some little things, some under eye concealer, some powder around the eyes to, press that concealer down. But like today, I'm not wearing foundation and I'm not wearing powder. I've got under eye concealer, I've got powder on top of that under eye concealer, and I've got blush. That's it. Whereas before it would have been a whole thing, right? And sometimes you even do that and you're like, I don't actually see the difference. It looks exactly almost like doing that full face. And then you go from there, and even nails. I do my nails pretty frequently, and I got my mom into going to the nail salon recently. So I always tag along with her. So now she goes like every 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm going with you, free nails. And then a couple of months ago, I was just thinking, I was like, why do I have to do this all the time? I'm like, is this even good for my hands? Because, there's this whole thing now about like the UV lights and all of that. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should take a break. Let me try and grow my nails. And so it's so easy to go down that path, starting with hair, obviously, but then other things. It's even like, it's like any ideology, right? You might make a decision. Like I always say, it's like side quest, but I say, I would, if I get married, I'd love to keep my name. And sometimes when I have that discussion with people say, oh, but what about your children's name? And I understand that it's the same slope, but I'm like, hey, do you know what? My name is just where my line is. I understand it intellectually, the idea of, okay, if you're making the same argument you're making for your name, you could make for your children's name. But hey, I can't force myself to care just for the sake of the ideology, right? And I think that's just what this all boils down to, is being self-aware. I always say that self-awareness for me is the most important quality for anyone, self-awareness. 100%. So first of all, be self-aware. Why do I like this? Why do I want this? Why do I not like this? And then from there, you can start to work. You recognize what you need to work on and recognize what you don't need to work on. Am I wearing wigs because I just like the variety? Even with natural hair, there's variety. There's twists, there's bantu knots, there's cornrows, there's what she said we're cousins, but I call her my aunts. What my aunt has on her head right now. There's so much variety. Wigs is just one variety like that. You might see a wig, I'm like, I really want this wig. I need to cornrow my hair so I can wear this wig. So I just think the problem then becomes when you're not wearing your hair because you're not comfortable. Because you feel like you look ugly. So that's then the problem.
But that is my experience with a lot of people who sign up to my hair course.
Yes, they don't know how to wear their hair.
They do not know
Some people have never seen them. I think you said that. There's some people who've never seen.
There are people who I have known for over 15 years, and I have never seen their own hair. I don't think that we can just, in those instances, say, it is just a choice.
There's some people's
it is more than a choice.
And some people whose husbands have not seen their hair.
And also, I think,
crazy.
yes, I think also, it's, as you said earlier, it's conditioning.
Yeah.
A lot of people from when they were young, like you said, your hair was relaxed at 5.
Yeah.
A lot of people have that experience where from a young age, they've been told that this is what is beautiful. You're going to be a little bride, we have to relax your hair. So automatically, that is what you're being raised, to believe, that your hair has to be in a certain way. You're going for something glam, it has to be sleek. You're doing a photo shoot, it has to be smooth. You have to lay it down. It has to be, all smooth and straight and bone straight and all that. So that's now a different thing where it's now a mindset and it's a conditioning and it's a belief system that you now imbibe that this is what I believe to be beautiful. And it's just Western's, obviously the Western standard of beauty. And we need to, now that's a whole different thing. And I think that,
but it's part of the same thing.
It is, and
because it's part of the same thing. Because the pressure that I felt to wear my hair straight comes from the beauty standards of a Western woman who has naturally straight hair.
Absolutely.
Because I had believed
that is what
beauty looks like. Now, you said something earlier, and you were almost apologetic. And I don't think that you ought to be, because you said when you started embracing your natural hair, it made you look and question, makeup. And then that made you look and question nail. And you said it almost apologetic. Where does it end?
Yes.
But I think that is exactly the right journey that we ought to be on.
Yes.
Because these are all standards that we've been conforming to. I love makeup. I love nails.
You look beautiful.
I don't think anybody has seen me
without
COVID.
Well, you couldn't go anywhere.
This is still one of the things that I need to conquer
Yeah.
this nail thing. But I think that a healthy place to be is to be comfortable with my nails without these nails, right? And I so feel that a comfortable place to be is to be able to go out without makeup.
Yeah.
I think that that is normal. That is what we should start normalizing so that when we put makeup on, it's just because we want to change it up, not because we feel we have to.
But I think that internal struggle and that process that you go through and is somewhere where I am right now is I'm like, I feel comfortable going out without these things, but I know subjectively in my head that I am not as attractive as I would be if I had these things on.
Ooh.
So it's like, I look nice with my hair, look great with my hair, but hey, I would look better if my hair was like XYZ. But I'm making that choice, intellectually, out of principle, to not do that. Like even now, I haven't done my nails in months because I thought not doing my nails would make them grow. They are not growing. But my nails I don't feel as attractive as if my nails are done. When I go out without makeup, I'm confident, but in my head, I feel like I would look more attractive with makeup. But I think that that's the conversation that we were having, some months ago over text. And I think something that you said that really resonated with me was just that those feelings aren't necessarily wrong. Like just because you're having those feelings doesn't mean that you need to beat yourself up. And I think that's just a struggle with that conditioning because like you said, a wedding is a time you'd want to be extra glam. So yes, we're not going to, there's a peak to our beauty. I don't even know how to put it, but on a particular day, it might be a 1, a particular day, it might be a 10, right? And that's why sometimes people joke and say that, men don't have the advantages that women have where we can, throw things on and elevate ourselves. So I think we should have more grace for ourselves to say that it's not betrayal to yourself to say, maybe I would be more attractive if I did these particular things.
That's particularly what I don't agree with.
Okay.
So I would say to myself, I have now all those feelings that you had, I had them at various points. But I now genuinely actually don't feel that I would look good with a 26 bust down. I now genuinely feel that my best aesthetics is with my own hair. And that is with a style like this, which I tried for today for the first time.
It looks so good.
Or with I wouldn't even mention Bantu knot because it will not be my go-to glamour style for me and my aesthetic looks. But a twist out, for example, I feel I look great in it.
You do.
If somebody could do, what do they call those things? It's not the twist out. It's
not the perm rods, the finger coils.
No, the new twist out, but it's not a twist
like
out.
the curl set.
The curl set. Those ones. Wash and goes.
Yeah.
I feel I would look great in it.
I love them. They don't last, but I love them.
They don't last,
I don't think they last. And I actually think that they introduce a lot of tangles to my own hair, particularly my own hair. But my point is, I now feel absolutely glamorous with my own hair. If styled, I don't feel I need to reach out for another to look glamorous. And that's where I think that there is still a lot of mismatch. That a lot of people think that they have to have that extra of the hair to look amazing.
Because I think a lot of it, again, we've been conditioned, whether natural or relaxed, we've been conditioned, first of all, that long hair is attractive.
That's
true.
it. I think that really that's the whole argument.
Say I want long hair.
Yes.
That is always like, that's the one thing. I started my hair journey from, my hair was like an inch or 2 inches at the most. And, it's been a journey, but I know that now the compliments I get, it's always like, my goal is to just have long hair, and that's what a lot of women strive for, whether it's relaxed or natural. So that's, again, a conditioning that, that is the beauty standard. If your hair is not long, it's not beautiful.
That's true.
But I think that's global. That's being a
global.
woman.
That's global. That's just being
a woman's crown is her head, right? Or her hair or something like that.
So those are the things. So that's all the complexities that come into it. And then just, as women, we just have a lot of hang-ups. Yeah,
absolutely.
We do.
We
just have a lot of things. It's like,
if we're talking about body, we'll be here all day. So hang-ups
there's
everywhere.
Things also we need to do to make ourselves look more attractive.
That's true.
And it's not a bad thing because I feel like that's part of our superpower. It is. You have the ability to transform.
Chameleon.
Or to, create, to give yourself a variety of looks. You can change your hair up. You can change your makeup. You can change, your look. But
I think I agree.
Yeah,
I would not. I think I
that's a
agree.
superpower.
I think I'm very, very comfortable in my femininity.
Yeah.
And I love to dress up. I love makeup. I love hair. It's just that now I love my own hair exclusively.
So that's the thing. I think we
most of
just
the
need to
time.
start learning to love our natural selves.
Absolutely.
Because when the foundation is right, and you love what you have naturally, be it your body, your skin, your hair, your nails, everything else you add, yes, it can be an enhancement, but you know that at the baseline, you love who you are.
Absolutely.
And that's the most
So what
important
do you
thing.
say then to the viral video of the lady who said we should not come to her event with natural hair? You see, this is where...
So that's ignorance to start off with. That's just silly ignorance.
I think it's just hyperbole.
silly.
Is that the word?
Yeah, it's just silly because I think it's just a very narrow-minded way of thinking. It's a very, you might as well say, don't come to my... Again, I'll translate this the same way with makeup and with other things. Don't come to my event if you're not wearing makeup or if you're not wearing lashes. Like, who says that? It doesn't make sense. And it says more about the person that is saying it than who she's saying it to. It says more about you, and it says what it is that you think about yourself, what it is that you think about your own hair and your own person, because you cannot love yourself and say things like that.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%. What did you think? You saw the...
So obviously I thought that she was definitely being dramatic for dramatic effect, but there are some things that even when you're trying to be dramatic, you don't say. And I think also in her defense, she then tried to come out and say that, but she wears her own hair. And the thing as well is, it's kind of like what we're saying, okay, you're wearing your own hair, but then do you bring out your hair for, the big events? Do you consider yourself beautiful with your own hair? Because again, unless you shave it all off, you're going to wear your hair sometimes, even if it's just in the salon or in the comfort of your home.
Absolutely.
That's what you've got on your head. But yeah, I think it just, still follows into where we are very much as a culture, right? Yes. This obsession with sleekness and smoothness. Even now when I do my hair, I tell them, please leave the front. It's okay if it's a bit scattered. Don't worry, leave it. And, this idea that everything has to be in place. One thing I would say is sometimes I actually feel more confident in my natural hair when I'm not in Nigeria. Nobody at me, please. Like something about being in England,
it's more
freeing.
Okay.
It's actually more freeing in my hair. And sometimes even in my clothes as well. But I think that's because...
Clothes, definitely. Every time I come to Lagos, I really struggle because I am not a conservative dresser.
Yeah.
So I really struggle to pick out clothes that are... Obviously, as I get older, people are happy because the scandalous me is toned down as I get older. Naturally. But I am not. But naturally, I am not a conservative dresser. I feel freer.
But I think it just follows on from that, because you feel freer because, and I might be using a different word than what you would use, but you feel freer because there's less judgment. And I think with the hair as well, it's the same thing. I feel freer because there's less judgment. But why is there less judgment? Because there's less people to judge. Like 90% of people that are going to see me aren't going to know the difference. Right. And in fact, they're going to see and they're going to think, in their own way, wow, how nice, how interesting, how exciting, how different, right? And it's not the mummies and the aunties who know that, okay, maybe this thing is, they know what you know. You go out and you're like, okay, it's only like 90% coiffed. Like I could have made a bit more effort, but like I just had to go. They're not seeing that, right? And so there's definitely more freedom for me. It's more freeing there. I am also, more comfortable wearing it just like as a plain old afro, like without trying to twist it out or manipulate it when I'm there. And so I think that really was just an extension of, again, saying what really should not be said and saying what really she probably would never do except
but
like in her head.
In her heart. And
exactly,
I
in
almost,
the heart,
I almost
for sure.
feel like you guys have given her a little bit of a pass. Maybe because time has passed.
Yeah.
And maybe because you are really decent human beings.
That too.
I was livid. I was livid. And I will tell you why I was livid. Her comment is actually dangerous. And her comment holds a lot of women captive to this idea that they need to have their hair in a particular way. And why it's dangerous is because I sit, and I'm sure you do too, at the other end of seeing women who have lost their hair
Yeah, of course.
and who have been traumatized by that loss because of back-to-back stylings that are not sympathetic to their natural hair. So when they hear comments like that, it locks them in a vicious circle because they feel that I've had a client who was told, don't come to my 50th with your natural hair.
That's crazy.
Point
Whoa.
blank. This is before
crazy.
this lady made that statement.
Maybe that's
But
also
you
why
see-
you're so triggered, because you've actually
Right,
experienced it in
that
real
before.
life.
But even with this situation, one thing that I have to say though that I really liked is that everybody
That's true.
came and said
and
"Don't be
rallied.
Yes.
That is very true.
And nobody supported it.
That is very true.
Like,
Some people. Some people do.
Look,
There always be
I
some
always say
outliers.
that even
There
if-
was quite a few
listen,
people who
even
did.
if Lucifer came today, there will be people that
To
will
support. That's
So
true.
people will
Especially in
always
Nigeria.
support.
That's true.
Some people will always support, but the majority,
Yeah, you're right.
a good amount of people, the majority of the what we're hearing is people condemning the statements.
Until I wouldn't
Go
say
on.
the majority with the pastor though. When a
Well,
pastor came out
so
and said,
yes.
remember
Yes,
when the pastor
yes,
said,
yes,
you're
But I didn't
looking,
finish
you're
it. I was just
looking
like,
for
I
a
beg, I beg.
husband,
Yes,
but
you
you're
have to
wearing
wear your
natural
hair.
hair.
That's-
When that pastor said that,
Mm-hmm.
the internet were divided.
They were
Do you know
divided,
what?
yes.
Do you know
And
what?
yes.
Do you know what? I wasn't divided, though. I do. I completely disagree with that statement. But again, that's that internalization, right? That's that, again, 18, 19, 20-year-old Ife that's like, this kind of aesthetic attracts more people.
And
I
you're
don't know,
right.
I don't know how to
because
it's
our
like-
men have been conditioned too.
Yes.
We cannot pretend that our men have not been conditioned to think that
Sometimes
certain
you-
looks.
and I think
Sometimes
so
you
I
find the
understand
unconditioned
that.
one is hard.
But also, I think also it's important. That's why it's very important for us to pick our words carefully, because it's important who is delivering the message as
Exactly.
well.
Yeah.
It was the person delivering the message.
Exactly.
That's why it was so divided.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's why the first person's on
We could dismiss as
it exactly.
you're
But
an
this other
irrational
person
idiot.
was
Sorry.
someone that people looked up to, had a huge following.
Absolutely.
People followed the messages and
Respected
everything.
her.
People respect. Yes,
And you are on
so
the
some
pulpit.
people, no matter so it goes to show that some people, if you respect someone that much, no matter what they say,
They'll
you're
go
going
to
agree.
bat for them.
You're going to bat for them. So even though what she was saying
I-
was not right, they were going to support no matter what.
I 100%
Yes,
agreed with
so
you.
that's where it's dangerous. I think that one is dangerous.
I think that was more
Yes,
dangerous.
that was more dangerous,
I absolutely
yes.
agree with you because of the office that she held. And you know what disappointed me the most with this, with the pastor that made that ignorant statement? What disgusted me the most was, unless and I stand to be corrected, that she did not come out publicly to redress the damage.
No, she didn't.
But she did not, because I understand people can err. You know, people can say things.
And you can get carried away sometimes.
People can get carried away. I'm a
You say
talker.
outside things,
You know,
inside things outside.
You know, I ain't saying things sometimes and I go away and I reflect and I go, oh, come
I shouldn't
on,
have said
man,
that.
you shouldn't have said
Inside
that.
thoughts.
And even if you wanted to say that, you shouldn't have said it like that. She had enough time to reflect.
Yeah.
She knew the strength of people's discontent with what she said. And she never for once came out publicly to
Sometimes
say,
you have to stand on business.
Right. Some people will say no matter what, they're standing
disappointed
on it.
me.
Yeah.
It
And
disappointed me
again,
because of
I
her
mean,
position.
I didn't what is she's not is the person is not someone that I follow. I don't really know.
Neither. I don't
didn't
know anything
her
about her.
until
Yeah.
This situation, and I've not even till today I've never listened to the message, because I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you should have listened to
I
the whole
listened.
message." I didn't listen
I
to the
didn't.
whole
In
message.
fact, there was
I
even
didn't
more
watch the
crap
whole
in the
clip,
whole
I can't
message.
lie.
I didn't.
Really, I don't.
So I don't know what the message carried, or what the purpose of saying that statement was. But everything you say, you have to be responsible with your words. Yes, and you have to understand
Absolutely.
that the impact that it has carries weight. And with that, even if it's a sound bite, the sound bite, it wasn't edited. It was something that you said, and it carries a message.
Yeah.
And that message was a dangerous message. Yes, and
Absolutely.
yes, she didn't. It should have been. In the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, the
to
right
come
thing
out
to
and
do
just
would have
say,
been to redress it and be like, I didn't mean
Absolutely.
it that way, or this is, give a better context
Absolutely.
to what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what? I also want to maybe move on, but recognize some of the things that you said. Conditioning. But giving people grace for being conditioned
Yeah.
into believing that straight hair is better, because I feel that we've all been victims of this conditioning. What I don't like to see is when people deny
Do
the
you know,
conditioning.
I was waiting for you to finish because I was going to say that the conditioning for me is never the problem. Almost for there's I can recognize there's a lot of things, especially when you're Black, especially again in interaction between men and women, that conditioning comes into play. But for me, it's always self-awareness. Recognize this is the reason why I like this thing. This is the reason why I feel this way. And then sometimes you can decide this is the reason, and you know what? I'm still cool with it. And that's fine. But when you, like you said, when you deny it, when you don't even recognize it, when you've never thought of the fact that I've never gone somewhere with my natural hair in a decade. That's a problem.
That's a problem.
Be able to first say it's a problem, right?
I mean, how can we, but we're in environments here and in the UK where people don't see it as a problem.
Yeah.
Until they start losing their hair.
Yes. Until
they start losing their hair. But things are beginning to change.
Yeah, I think.
Or what do you think?
I do think. I think. Again, maybe because I'm in a business where I see a lot of women with natural hair. But a lot of women are wearing their hair more now. We have a lot more women. And I think, again, the availability of salons, of products, of information. We've gone past the days of where everybody's keeping everything tight to their chest and they're not sharing information. The internet has completely disrupted that. And yes, a lot of the information on the internet is not correct as well.
True.
But you have to sift. You have to sift through. But there's just a lot more availability. And then people are more curious. People are reading more. There's just more information and people are consuming more information. And then there's a lot more discussions about conscious about health, conscious about wellness, even down your skin, what you're eating, and it's translating into your hair care as well. What kind of products you're applying to your hair, the general practices. So women are more conscious and more aware and are, taking hair as part of their self-care now, which is fantastic. But I think that there's still like I was talking to one of the ladies outside and she was saying, one of the issues for her is just convenience of finding a hairstylist that can manage natural hair because it's a challenge. There's, a lot of, and now in the hair industry, I have to admit, there's still a lot of knowledge gaps. There's a lot of training that needs to be done. There's a lot of standards that are missing. So I trained in the UK. I've worked in, a couple of other countries. And one thing that is available in the UK, in the US, and in Europe is that I can wake up today and say, I want to become a salon owner and a hairstylist. And there's a cookie cut solution. I can go into a training school. I can decide when I want to take the course. There's always availability of a variety of courses to take. I can look and I can come out with the qualifications. I can see business standards and everything. And I know that me that trained and you that trained, our training is pretty much aligned in terms of the markers.
There's a common minimum standard.
The markers are being met. In Nigeria, that's not the case.
Right.
We don't have...
It's vibes.
Yeah, well, not just it's vibes, but we don't have schools. We don't have training schools. A lot of my staff have trained from scratch. A lot of other salons have done the same. But what is to say that the training that I'm offering and the training that you're offering, what are the markers that are aligning so that we know that there's a basic standard that is being met by all stylists that are going into that profession? It's not there. So a lot of salons who don't have the right knowledge are training based on the knowledge that they have. Yeah. So they're training and giving the wrong training. They're teaching the wrong things. So by default, that's why sometimes when people say, oh, stylists, you go, they do this, they do that. Sometimes, honestly, again, meet them with grace because that's what they've been taught. And people think that, because we're in Nigeria and, we have, this is our hair, this is our natural hair. We should know how to care for it. We don't. People don't. Unless you've been taught how to do something, you may not know how to do it.
Absolutely correct.
So there has to be that.
Yeah, what you said just reminded me, and there was something else I wanted to say, but what you said just reminded me of, since we're talking about viral videos, that person who said she came to a salon in Nigeria that was supposed to be a natural hair salon and they tried to do her hair with like a little tail comb and whatnot. And to be honest, that very much could have been what happened. But before that, I had just picked up on your use of, the word like women and women, wearing their natural hair more and being more comfortable. And I wanted to also even think of girls as well. Like, obviously, I haven't been a girl in a while, but I have a younger sister and she's 8 years younger than I am. And I think that my experience with like natural hair and hers are like night and day. Like she's never had I can't even remember if she's ever had relaxed hair. Or if she did, she must have transitioned maybe around the same time I did, maybe in a big sister, little sister kind of way, which would have made her maybe 13 or whatnot. Yeah. But as long as I've known, even, you know, in secondary school when she was 13 and going to sixth form, she and all her friends had natural hair. And for them, it's not really a thing.
It's a different experience.
And I'm not going to say they don't have hang-ups, because at the end of the day, they're still watching the same media that we're all consuming. And in media, you know, there's still, I mean, there's definitely a lot more natural hair representation. That's not the issue. But there's still hang-ups from that, from media, from the grown-ups around you, all of that. But I just feel like their experience is completely different. I don't know if it's the same for your daughter.
I don't think it is. Yeah. I don't think it is. I think there are, honestly, subsets and cohorts that may move differently. So my daughter recently said, "Oh, Mama," she asked me, she came over and said, "Did you know that to have a weave, they actually sew it on your head?"
I don't understand. She didn't know that.
Right? I said, "Did you know that when you were 8, you used to ask me at what age you could wear a weave?"
She didn't know you sew weaves in.
She did not know. Because she'd forgotten from 8 till she's now 16. 8 years. It took 8 years, just 8 years for her to have forgotten everything completely. However, she then said, and I said, "Yeah, well, why are you bringing this up?" She said, "They're giving my age mate hair all over TikTok." So hair care brands who sell weaves, and they're giving these young girls hair to wear and promote for them for free. So that is a concern in that you're pushing another standard.
I won't mind free hair, but I'm not a young girl, so
you're pushing another standard, and that you know, that for me was interesting. But I also think exactly what you said. She doesn't feel the pressure to wear weaves. She doesn't feel the pressure to wear wigs. She feels the pressure to always have her hair in braids. And I've had to do a lot of education.
That might be a different pressure, because my sister's got her hair in braids a lot. Her friends have hair in braids a lot. So maybe braids is like the new weave or something.
Exactly.
And then she doesn't have to manipulate her own hair much.
That could be it.
And it's not so much. It is
just putting your hair
away. It is
away.
the ease to have it in something where she doesn't have to. So even with that, there has to be an education around. You can't wear braids all the time.
A lot of women that are dealing with hairline issues now is down to the constant braids.
It's not even weaves.
It's not weaves. It was the braids.
It was the braids.
The Ghana weaving and the tiny million braids and all those things that they were doing.
Exactly. So we've touched on quite a lot about hair and salons, and I think that, you know, the salon issue is still a thing. However, I am not going to jump on salons in Nigeria. And I'll tell you why. I have actually encountered more decent salons here because they've billed themselves as natural hair salons. So there is at least some understanding. It is not that easy to find natural hair salons in the UK.
Oh, absolutely. Do you know that?
It is not.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. There was a point where I thought I might have to be in England for a couple of months this year. And I was just thinking, where am I going to be doing my hair? Because when I was in uni and when I was doing my master's, I was going to get my hair done in Brixton. And at that, where I was in my hair care journey when I was going to Brixton is not where I am now. Please, I can't fight.
And that is another thing. You're absolutely correct. That is another thing. And to be honest with you, Brixton is a posh area these days. But that's another thing. We want to be in amazing environments where we're comfortable, where the salon looks great, where we can go in and just throw off our shoes and sit down and have a lovely hair wash. I get that a bit more in England, in Nigeria, in Lagos, than I do in England. And I'm not saying that they aren't one or two fantastic.
No, there is one or two.
And they're oversubscribed.
Yes.
Where to get an appointment is like literally.
Yeah. And again, I think it comes down to, once again, the education. As this, I trained in the UK. I taught in the UK. I was teaching hairdressing for a while. It's only when I was doing my training, this was like over 20 years ago. Afro hairdressing wasn't even
Yes.
part of the. It was a tiny module, and it wasn't part of the necessary module. So no one had to do it. I did it because it was what I was interested in,
Yes, obviously.
and thankfully I had one Black teacher that was that could teach it, and she was able to deliver it. But I had to do extra work because it was outside the mainstream curriculum. You had to take an extra, an extra part of the course. So you have to be intentional to even want to learn that as a young person. And it's only in the last maybe 3 years ago that the education and standards have now said Afro hairdressing has to be a part of the curriculum.
Yeah.
So there's a whole relearning that has to go into it because people just don't know how to do it.
That shows you that things are going to improve in the UK or in the coming years.
Yes,
and you know
over
what?
time.
And you know what's exciting about that? I know that some of the natural hair care or even the Black stylists were quite divided on that. I think it's the right thing.
It's good.
I'm excited for it. I think I have no problems going into a white salon if there are amazing stylists that have been trained on my hair. Because it means that I would have a wider access and it means that there will be more competition, which is good for price, obviously, and good for quality as well. So I'm actually excited about the future.
And just for standards
standards in general. But what, as a hairstylist, for example, what are the common mistakes that you're seeing that people are making with their hair?
You mean clients?
And it doesn't have to be just natural hair. It could be natural hair or relaxed hair in general.
I think just, first of all, people like to overcomplicate hair care.
I agree.
Yeah. It's people will come and say, oh, I want my hair to be long. Give me products. What should I be using?
I agree.
What can I buy? And
I feel attacked.
I agree because I can show you messages from her.
I'm already looking at what products I'm going to take with me, so I feel attacked.
And I keep telling people all the time. People even come to when I tell them, they're like, don't you want to sell? I'm like, it's not that I don't want to sell you products, but I'm not going to lie to you. It's a process. Like, the first thing, just learn that you need to wash your hair regularly.
Thank you.
Like, simple.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It can't be just that.
Absolutely.
You see the problem. And then when you tell them, they'll say, no, it can't be that simple. Like, you're keeping secrets.
You are keeping secrets. Yes, I'm on that table.
Exactly.
You all are keeping secrets.
And I'm like, just first of all, get into the habit of shampooing and condition your hair on a regular basis.
Can I tell you how bad?
That's the same thing you said during your hair care class, and I
course.
still think this is a myth.
It is not a myth. It is
not.
the truth. Can I tell you how bad this thing is? This idea that it needs to be complicated. I just started my hair course, which I decided to run once a year, and honestly, part of the reason is because it's an emotional thing, hair care. And it can be intense for me because I also give them access on my WhatsApp to me 24/7. And we went through the wash day routine. And in the session, this lady brought up the case that she washes her hair, conditions it, and then she spritz her hair with a mixture of glycerin and water in a bottle. Then she puts a leave-in conditioner in. Then she goes on the heated bonnet so that the thing can penetrate in the hair. So I said, okay, if that's working for you, I'm not, because what I've learned is some people are not coachable. Some people don't want to submit themselves, even though they want.
So then why are you on a hair course?
Well, because
I want my hair to be 26 inches.
Yes, and because they think that there's a secret that's missing, right? So I said to her, there's no need for that. So my approach is, what is necessary for the hair? Not what is a fad, what we can just throw in, or even what is the nice to have. Because let's get the fundamentals right before we move on to the jazzy wizzy bit. So I said, that is not necessary. I just want you to wash your hair, detangle your hair, wash your hair, deep condition your hair, use a leave-in conditioner, seal it with an oil or butter if you like, and that is it. After the course, she then sends me a private She then sends me a private message with the scientific backing and rationale for this extra approach.
Goodness.
And I still said it is not necessary. You can do it if you want to do it. Is it necessary for healthy hair? No. Is it necessary for length retention? No. Now, Can I see some additional benefits? Probably. Glycerin is a humectant, right? Draws water to your hair. There can be some benefits to that. Can I see some benefits in adding a heat cap to let it sip? Yeah, I can see some benefits. Is it necessary? Have I not achieved great hair without those things? Yes, but there is still this thing that people think hair care is complicated, and they will forever be chasing dreams, wild
I think
dreams.
that's everything in beauty though, because even now in skincare, which I'm also really into these days, hair care, skincare, it's all
I can
together.
see your skin's popping, especially if you're going to be going without makeup.
Oh my God. And yeah, even in skincare, skincare experts say it's very simple, guys. Like you're doing 12 steps, 6 steps, 16 steps. You only need, maybe wash this, and a cream, and that's it. And people are still like, oh, I'm using 5 serums, 5 hydrating serums, 3 different vitamin C's. So I think that idea of there must be some secret, there must be some complexity runs through all beauty things.
That's very true. Because that is the same
even in
with
diets.
fitness. I was just about to say. That's the same with nutrition and fitness. 2 worlds that I'm very, very familiar with. People are surprised at how simple my diet is and how basic my training is. They work. And how basic my eating is with a Nigerian diet. Yes.
And an okra bread, like I see.
Yes, exactly.
Just
the consistency and a basic understanding of the education.
Right.
Foundational education. And that is all. So I really do hope that we can start moving people away from... And you know what, actually, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to challenge some of my colleagues in this natural hair. It's their fault.
Yeah.
It is. Let's be honest. Some people sell complicated.
Oh, yeah.
Some people make things appear to be more complicated to sell.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a shame because what they don't realize is, you might attract some customers, but you're putting so many more off.
And I think as hairstylist, your key goal, my key goal for my business is to create ease for your clients. That is the key goal. It should not be complicated. It should not be tedious. It should be something that is achievable and you can do it regularly and you can do it consistently. And, it's not, you enjoy the process. Just make it enjoyable.
My wash days is one of my most, I look forward to it. Wow. Because it's so therapeutic for me. And I'll tell you why. I make sure that I have my wash days in my gym.
Oh, I saw that on your Insta story. Your gym looks so lush.
My gym is fabulous. So I exercise and post-exercise, I go into the changing room, which we have 2 changing rooms. One is always particularly quiet. I sit there in front of the mirror. I detangle my hair in peace. I wash it there in peace. There's always this soft, nice music in the background. It's a whole therapeutic process. I love it. I don't do it every day. I don't do it every week. I do it every 10 days, 2 weeks at maximum length. I will go without washing my hair. I really enjoy it. It is easy for me. And then I don't put my hair in complicated style. Most of the time I'm wearing it's in twist. So I put it to the back and that's it. Unless I'm going out or there's I'll do something a little bit more to it. I have gotten to the point where exactly what you described is what I am achieving. Yeah. And I know that is possible for so many women. And I want them to achieve that.
I think it's also just finding what you like. I think something about natural hair and when you're trying to battle that internal shame is you feel like you must like it at every state, right? Or every style must fit you. The same way every wig, every weave, every style of braids doesn't fit you. You might not be the person who... An afro, kind of like what you have and what I have a lot of the time, might not be for you. Maybe what's for you is a twist out. Maybe what's for you is bantu knots. Maybe what's for you is twists.
Wash and go.
A wash and go. So I think instead of people just seeing their afro, because that's how most people first deal with their hair, right? Just as an afro in its natural state. Instead of just seeing that and being turned off, think, okay, do I want to, because there's been this wave in my office where it's like everyone's cutting their hair and dyeing it. And I'm like, I love it. And yeah, a lot of people do that.
A lot of people are doing that.
And that's why people
But I hope they're not doing it because they feel that they can't.
Just have it short. They have to now dye it also.
Because they feel that they can't manage their hair. So just cut it off. Which I think is another reaction in our community that bothers me sometimes, which is, I said it not too long ago, any little setback, chop off. as opposed to sitting
And nurture it back.
and nurturing it back. And that's where I found my power.
It's like, it talks to me, I was going to chop it off tomorrow.
You see?
Because it's not growing. It's been 10 years. It's still at my shoulders. I literally have to
You will get back to your shoulder and the pop.
Okay, but you chopping it off, is that to start a journey again? Or is it just, okay, I'm bored, I want to try something new?
It's almost for me, it's like, for me, I feel like maybe I should just abandon this length thing. Maybe length is not for me. This is
But why are we so hung up on length? Why not just have healthy hair?
Why is it me that is my own destiny to not have long hair?
Now, I will tell you something. See, I am a bit more sympathetic with people that want long hair because I wanted long hair.
Sympathize with me.
And I'm also one to say, speak out what your goals are. Don't be fussy.
Manifesting.
Don't be fuzzy about what your goals are. I remember when I went on my fitness journey, I took all the fitness magazines and said, okay, I want a variation of this look. For me, for my own physique, but I want to look like a fitness model, but in my own physique, in my own body. And because my goal was clear, I learned how do they do it, how do they train, how do they eat.
You also have the discipline for it. You have to,
and then I incorporated that. The same thing with hair. I want longer hair. What do I need to do? How do I need to do it? So being clear.
That's the question for you.
Exactly. However, let me tell you, I know what the problem is.
Hey. What is the problem? Please tell us.
Every other time I cause this, she's wearing hairstyle. There is a mismatch between what you say you want
and what you're doing.
And what you're doing to your hair.
Do you know what's so funny? And we must definitely take this off the mic as well, because I would be amiss to not have two hair experts and not ask questions. But I think sometimes as well, when you're doing the right thing and you're not seeing any change, and I think that people experience a lot in like fitness and diet, you can get disheartened. So I think I've been quite consistent in twists and the washing every 2 weeks thing for maybe up to a year, if not more. I just feel like health of hair, oh yeah, I've got that down, sure.
Okay, so your problem is the length retention. So you need to look at other factors as well.
Yeah.
Like maybe when you're taking down your style.
Yes.
You know, making sure that you're not causing breakage before you even, because a lot of people don't factor in the take down and detangling.
Yes.
Because people think that wash process starts when you wash the hair. But the take down is a very important, and that's why a lot of people miss it.
Yeah.
And they start to lose the length. So you have to look at your whole process.
Loads of things that people miss. I 100% agree with you. During the wash day process, I spent about 2 months taking people through wash day. And we spend a lot of time on detangling because a lot of people lose more hair than is necessary during detangling, and they don't realize.
Yeah, I did your course. I remember that.
And they also do during takedown, exactly as you said. And it's those little things that add up. Also, people tell me they want longer length, and I say, how long was your hair 3 months ago? Oh, I don't know, but it looks exactly the same.
So you're not actually measuring
it.
Right.
I can't lie, I don't measure.
Exactly. So I don't measure my hair because I'm not chasing length. Right? But if I was, I would.
So you'd be surprised that if you were measuring, you'd actually see.
I need to get one of those shirts.
You will see, and you will know what you've done in the last 3 months to not attain length. And then exactly as you said, if it's length retention, other factors come into play. Your diet, your movement. Are you low on iron, for example? Are you low on vitamin D?
Definitely that one.
And we live in Lagos. Well, you live in Lagos.
You need to be outside.
But are you outside a little bit more in the mornings to get some sun in? And if you're not, are you supplementing with vitamin D? Those things play a role.
Oh my God, I feel like I'm everyone watching right now. It's good that I'm here as an outlier. It's like expert user.
Your hair is beautiful. You are comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And that's...
I love my hair.
That's I know you do. And, that's one of the things that I want us to get to. For most of us to enjoy our hair. And people will be surprised when I say whether it's natural or relaxed. I feel there is a lot of space for relaxed hair. If that is going to be the way for you to enjoy your hair, please free yourself.
We were having that discussion before we started, and we were talking about relaxed hair, and I was saying that I feel like the relaxed hair community, if there's a community, has also benefited from the natural hair movement.
Absolutely.
Because there's now more focus. I don't have any problem with relaxed hair. I have a problem with how we used to relax our hair. I used to relax my hair every 6 weeks. And then straight from relaxer to doing a hairstyle, no deep conditioning, no protein treatment, nothing, just raw, 6 weeks, every 6 weeks. And so I think that was the problem, right? So yeah, I think that's,
Yeah,
I don't have,
course.
we would say,
there
yeah,
was
you don't
just
have a problem
lot of-
either.
Yeah, I mean, we offer relaxers in my salon. I had relaxers for 20 years, and I think it's just the bad hair practices.
Yeah.
So I always say to people, relaxers are not always the evil. It's the way you use them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the abuse of relaxers.
Except for children.
Except
really
for
do
except
think
that's
for
the
children.
lie.
So yeah, for children, I don't encourage relaxers.
I'm going to be that
at
mom that
all.
doesn't let them relax to like
Yeah, of
16
course.
or
would
Yes,
not.
I
13.
agree.
Yeah.
I didn't relax my hair till I was 16.
Definitely gonna be that person.
So that's how my
one
parents.
thing
that's
that we've
one-
all been
Yeah.
unanimous.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I think
Relax for hair for children.
Because I think
No,
also
no.
then it's not
And
their desire to you
apart from even
imposing
their desires,
and
we
the
have
chemicals.
to be honest with ourselves. There are chemicals and there are,
Absolutely.
Sure.
disruptors. And,
Absolutely.
for children who are just growing,
Absolutely.
their bodies are developing. They're, you don't want to disrupt anything in their natural
true.
body systems.
And you
where
don't want to
they've not-
compromise their scalp health
Exactly. You
early
don't want
on.
to, yeah. You don't want
Who
to
doesn't
do all
remember?
that.
Who remembers the relaxer burns? Just like
I do.
Oh, you
very
didn't? You didn't
clearly.
get
Oh,
relaxer burns?
I did.
My-
And
yes.
what, why I made that face is
Yeah.
we then normalized it.
I was like
course,
10
yeah.
having relaxer burns because I
We
stopped
made
relaxing
it. We
at
made
17.
it seem okay that was happening.
I remember being young. I think when I just started getting relaxers, about 15, 16. And I remember going to that. I cried so much that day. I remember going to a lady to relax my hair, and she relaxed my hair and then put me under a dryer, like under a hood dryer. It was the worst experience of my life. Honestly, I think that was where my I don't know, the anxiety for
Around,
relaxers started. Because ever since then I thought, okay, I'm only gonna have like one person relaxing my hair. They need to know what they're doing. And I just felt like my scalp is super sensitive. She didn't get it. It was awful. It was one of my first relaxers.
I remember picking like my relaxer scabs. Like, the way you like pick scabs, which you're not
Even
supposed
the
to
one
do.
where
I used
you
to, like,
shouldn't
pick
have
my
had
relaxer
scabs in the
scabs.
first instance.
No, the worst one is when you've just relaxed and then you wake up the next day and it's stuck.
Oh,
Your hair
I've
will
seen
be-
that.
Yeah, that used to happen to me a lot because you'll be weeping. It's like your scalp is weeping and then it dries and your hair's stuck to the scalp. And
There is one topic that is of concern to me that I see, but mostly in Nigeria, which is lace weaves on babies and children.
no, that's the common. I don't think anybody can actually justify that.
No, some people
like,
do. People
normalize-
justify it too.
Like normalize that on children.
But I see it so regularly
It's
now.
ridiculous.
It's self-hatred.
Okay, but you see, the funny thing is that for me, I feel like I see these things a lot on the internet, on Instagram, but I've never
not
seen
in
it
real
live. Have you ever seen it live?
I've never seen it live, but I have seen hairstyles that I feel like
Yeah, but I'm not talking
Should you
about
have
lace
this?
fronts on
Oh, no,
children.
no,
I've
I
never
can't lie,
seen
I've
it
never
live.
seen that
So
live.
I almost feel like these things are done
doing it for clout.
For clout.
No, it's
and
not.
for reaction. I don't know, because I've
I'll
never
tell you why
seen
you've
it.
never seen it live. It's
Why?
probably because of the demography that you move around
That's fair.
in.
Maybe.
That's why.
I've never seen it live.
I feel that there are a particular demography that this is brewing and developing in. And I think it's really, really concerning. And this is where I would say, and I actually raised it once. And that was the first and last time I ever commented on a stylist page about what hairstyle they're doing, because I decided I just don't need.
So you saw it on a stylist
I
page?
saw a stylist that did it, put the picture up, and I commented. And I said it was irresponsible for a stylist to do this on a
course.
child.
Yeah.
And her response was, am I not going to eat?
Whoa.
And
So at that point, it tells you, because that means you'll do anything regardless of, yeah.
But you see, you said something earlier about a slippery slope. I think in the early days, stylists may not have realized how damaging relaxers were.
Absolutely.
Now we know, especially for children and young scalp. I would love for us to get to a place where stylists say, full stop, we don't relax children's hair.
Oh, yeah.
Full stop. I don't want to hear stylists say, well, if I don't relax it, somebody else is going to relax it and get the money. I think that is, I think that there needs to be ethical standards.
Of course.
Same with weaves and lace fronts on babies.
Of course.
I feel that it is the stylist, because she said that, but I've seen other people say the mom wanted it.
I've seen that as well.
Right. So I feel that there is a responsibility on stylists and hair salon owners to just say, we don't do this hair. And I would love for us to move to that. But this is where beauty standards becomes dangerous. You see, what I say often is we've all been complicit, myself included.
Oh yeah, me too.
In the beauty standards that I was pushing at one time. And I really, really strongly feel that it is that complicity that has led to
Where we are now.
with seeing little babies with weaves and wigs. Because I'll tell you why. If we push if we agree that natural hair, if we agree that a particular beauty standard has been pushed on us and we've been conditioned, why do we then think that all of a sudden when we have children, that narrative stops, that conditioning stops? And sometimes when we start seeing what really grows from their head, we've been covering ours for so long, we may want to lie to ourselves that our hair is what it's not. But at some point, when you look at your child's hair and you see the reality of what natural hair looks like, you start to think, no, there's something wrong
people
with
say
this.
Babies have good hair, but they only have good hair for like 6 months or something.
Exactly. So when that hair
not
changes,
all babies even have hair. So.
Exactly. So when that texture changes, you then start to think, oh, it's not right. Let me do something. So it is all, in my opinion, part of the same cycle of conditioning that we then transfer onto our children. That's why it's important for us to start challenging what the beauty standards we're ascribing to are, what we're showing people, and what the consequences are.
I agree. I concur.
Just spoken like a lawyer.
No, for sure. I mean, as I said, I think it's crazy. Anything to do with kids for me is off limits when it comes to like nasty hair care. Relaxers, even weaves, wigs, anything to do with children.
Even some of the braids, man.
I mean,
some of the braids are
depending on
too
the type of
complicated.
braids.
Yeah.
In our salons, we don't do, for children, it's mainly washing, conditioning, the cornrows.
All back.
Yeah, or the simple styling.
styles.
Simple styling. We don't do anything chemicals for kids at all. And I struggle to think why any mother or any, would want to put a lace front on a child. Like, I mean, as I said, I've seen these things on Instagram, on social media, and I just really feel like maybe people are just seeking attention. I struggle to think that this would be like just a norm.
But they're doing it for birthday parties and big occasions.
So
This is what they're doing it for photo shoots for the children because they've subscribed to a beauty.
I want my baby to look the best.
Exactly.
So when they look at this picture in 10 years.
I think that's just sad. I think it's just sad because I always say that for kids, they don't really care about, like,
children don't care.
Children don't care about these things.
They really don't.
They absolutely don't care.
When I look at my pictures from when I was a child, I don't think if any of us looks at our pictures from the first 10 years.
We're critical about that.
You don't care about what your hair looks like.
I always just ask my mom, why do I have 10 hair bubbles on like 5 strands of hair?
You don't think about that. So I think people need to start. Mothers are doing it for themselves. It's not anything about the children.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
Mothers are doing it for themselves and projecting so much on the children.
child.
Your child just needs healthy scalp and healthy hair, and it doesn't matter. Please, if there's one message that I really want to push is please stop with the wigs and the weaves. And for those who don't fit the demography, you're also involved. That back-to-back braids on for those children's hair is too much. And definitely, please stop that Orishabumi with all the beads dangling all over the place. But it's been a wonderful conversation.
It has.
I've loved having both of you.
Thank you.
You both actually look slightly alike. It's
Okay.
so
We'll let the internet decide.
Maybe it's the hairstyling. You both actually have a parted.
I love a side part. I
love a side part.
I'm a side part girl too. Not a middle side part. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. As always, at the end of an episode, I get to answer one of your questions. So today's question is, Dear Titi, I've been considering relaxing my hair because I'm struggling with managing my natural hair. What will you advise? Relax your hair. Honestly, relax your hair. My thing with hair is for more Black women to learn to enjoy and wear their own hair. And that doesn't mean it has to be natural. If you're struggling with natural hair and you feel that relaxers are the way forward, relax it. If you want to texturize your hair, texturize your hair. Honestly, I'm not going to die in a ditch over natural hair. I want to see you enjoying your hair. And, I have coached so many women now that I realize that Some people really, really struggle. Some people have really, really, really thick, textured hair that they feel that they can't manage themselves. I am not in that position. I enjoy my natural hair. I love my natural hair. And that's why you see me wearing it exclusively. But if you're going to enjoy your hair more by having it relaxed, then relax it. What I want is to see you enjoy your own hair.